Hey everybody, and welcome to week 3 of college composition. I want to kind of walk you through the agenda and anything else that comes up that I think we need to speak about. So, well, right off the top is an additional screencast, and this is from a previous semester, so the dates and some of this content is going to look a little different, but I think you can handle it. I just rewatched that one, and I basically look at every old screencast and I kind of give it a thumbs up. Is it good enough? Thumbs down. Can I do better? And I'm not sure I could do much better than that one in terms of my explanation. So as long as you can make sense of the dates are correct everywhere else on the agendas and Angel, on the course calendar, on the syllabus, everywhere else. So you're depending on when you listen to this, you've probably already done your observation, and judging from what I've seen in Angel, you have picked some fantastic sites to observe, many places of public commerce, of course, recreation, coffee shops, that sort of thing. So I'm very hopeful that you are gathering a lot of very reliable, useful data, and you're going to share that data with me, pretty soon. I'm recording this before I'm able to see your field notes, but I'll have an idea of how much data you've gathered, and that will help me understand how effective your final product can be. And that's really what this week is about, is how do we prepare that final product. So as usual, those of you who've had me in a previous semester kind of know how I do peer review. And those of you who haven't, this will be your first crack at it. And I hope you catch the hang of it like every student seems to, sooner or later, usually sooner. But if not, please send me an email or a question for clarification. I'm happy to answer them. And what else was I going to say? To the students who have had me before, if you could be helpful to other people as well, that maybe are if something isn't exactly where it's supposed to be, can you I'm hoping I can count on your patience. Okay, so a long soliloquy to finally talk about the agenda at hand. So, like a responsible sociologist, once you gather data, it is your job to interpret it and refine it before you share it. No one's interested in your raw data, and that is a very simple way of saying do not just tell me the story of your observation. I hope that's been clear. Up to this point, I don't want the story of your observation. There it is once again. I try to put it everywhere. And invariably, a certain percentage of you are going to write an essay that starts at the beginning of your observation and ends at the end of your observation, and maybe has a little bit of a moral tacked on the end. And unfortunately, those essays could be Philip Roth. They could be John Cheever. They could be beautifully written. But I'm unable to pass those essays because they're not following the assignment I've tried very hard to detail. Ideas that will pave the way to debatable stances. I went back and looked through some older successful essays in terms of, what was the larger argument that got made? And, I'm going to talk about the sample essays here in a moment, but, there's lots of different arguments there. You have to be able to willing, I guess, able is one thing, willing is another, to learn what your observation teaches you. That is to say, you shouldn't go in with expectations, or you should be at least very aware of any expectations that you do have and do your best to ignore them. And actually go record your observations, take really good notes, and then make sense of them in terms of an argument that you can shape from them. So you really can't put the argument before the data. Now, in College Comp 1, that was kind of what you did. You started with a perspective, and then you sought out research to enhance that perspective, to support it, to provide proof that it's a valid perspective. And when it comes to primary research, that expectation is just a little different. You don't go in with an argument. You go in with a curiosity. What am I going to learn? And then it's your job to responsibly report back not only what you learned, but how it informs a larger argument that you either want to make sort of about society or about interpersonal dynamics, family dynamics, those sorts of things. So all of this is a long way of saying that here are some examples of debatable sorts of stances. Digital technology used by high school students enriches their academic experience and teaches them time management. So that might be something that, if you observe it, then you can take what are called critical incidents and from your observations to support your argument. Let's see. You think if you feel this is a piece of research, I'm looking for the phrase critical incident. I'm surprised it's not here. Well, what you do is you take an observed instance. I'll do it right now. Also called a critical, this must be so exciting for you, also called a critical incident. Critical incident, if you look into even like what? Let's highlight it. When police officers are, when they find themselves pulling their gun from their holster, and especially when they find themselves using their gun in the line of duty, that is immediately and always called a critical incident because, well, police officers pulled their weapon, and so they always need to have a debriefing from those critical incidents. What provoked this incident? How did you react? Was it the correct reaction? It's basically, an interpretation of the event. And that's kind of, sociology is kind of, taking this term from law enforcement and put it to work in other, broader sort of observational, in this case, contexts. So you're going to do the same thing. You're going to hopefully drill down on particular incidents that you took good notes on. And from the moments that you observed, it could be, issues related to eye contact or body language or holding up the line, at a restaurant, to food getting cold, that sort of thing. You take that critical incident and you unpack it, you interpret it. Okay, so your observations are there to support your argument like any other sort of research. So I said I'd talk about these a little bit last week, so let's very quickly look at these 3 sample essays. I've changed the names to protect the innocent. The student's name was not Tal Nugent. No, it's not, but Tal is a really, really great singer, so look her up sometime. The name of her band is the Get Down, Stay Down. So Minerva, McDonald's, okay. You're allowed to bring this word into your essays, guys, the I, because you are, inevitably a piece of the story because you're the one, collecting the research. So you are allowed to bring your other experiences in life, your other, interactions, exchanges that you've had that wouldn't feel out of place in your observation environment. So feel free to use I in this paper. Now, of course, you never want to use the word you, but don't be afraid to incorporate your own perspectives as you're making your way through your observation data. It's kind of tricky to pull off, but not impossible. So if you do want to incorporate your experiences, no problem. I think comparative methods are very useful in observations. I'm not only comparing one observation on a Monday compared to an observation on, like Saturday, just because one's a weekday and one's a weekend. That's an interesting comparison to make as well, and something that you could scale up to your argument. But also comparing, your own experiences. That if you go to Starbucks every day, to collect your own, to pick up a cup of coffee, and today you're observing Starbucks and it seems different from every other time you've been in there. Well, that's useful information. And you can see that, quote unquote, Tao here is talking not only about Classic 57, where she works, but also the McDonald's in town. And so you can think about the different purposes of those different restaurants if you're aware of what they are. One is fast food and one is more, kind of casual, it's a sit-down restaurant. So comparisons are very nice. Nice up, put that in here too. Comparison and personal experience. Here we go. Maybe we'll just kind of annotate each of these. Another sample essay. Oh, if you don't know who Jenny Lewis is, you're missing out. She's wonderful. She was the lead singer of Rilo Kiley, one of the better indie rock bands to come out of the early century, early 2000s. And she's a solo artist in her own right, and she's in a band now. Nice as F is the name of the band. I will not swear on this screencast. So check her out too. The Eradication of Bookstores. Let's see. The more I questioned about bookstores, the more I started to pay attention when I was in a bookstore to see if I would be able to find any obvious clues as to why this was happening. So you can have a sort of an initiating incident, an exciting incident that kind of spurs you to choose your observation site, and that's something that you were supposed to kind of deal with in your discussion board post in Angel. So here's a case of that okay, well, bookstores are closing. Well, how come book sales are kind of holding steady, maybe doing a little better? So she, that prompted Jenny here to investigate. Okay, is people of any age. So that's kind of the big exciting incident. This is about as close to a thesis statement as you're going to see in this paper. But I think that's okay. Thesis statements can be implied. They don't have to be explicit all the time. So this has lots of really nifty sentences. I always liked reading this young lady's writing. While sitting in the shop, I saw a number of customers place stacks of books, magazines, or sometimes both on their tables, and then pull out a phone or text or an iPad to play games. on or to watch the news, completely neglecting the tangible literature they had with them. What a great phrase, the tangible literature. It's tactile, you can hold it in your hands. So those sorts of, I don't know, paradoxes, juxtapositions, almost ironies or analogies, they help you tell the story of your essay. A young man barely even glanced at the books when he came in the store, choosing to head right to the coffee shop, order a drink, and set up his tablet to watch ESPN. So it seems like most people are going to bookstores to use the Wi-Fi. How interesting, how sad. All right. Now we see the argument starting to emerge here. It's borderline disrespectful. Okay, to entirely neglect. These are fighting words. Those are argumentative words. Definitely not a good thing, right? So again, she does tie back. There's not as much truth to the stereotype that younger generation use more technology, and I believe that is a stereotype. So anyway, read that one. Strong argument, let's say. And one more sample essay. So there you go. Editing in action. How exciting for you. Win Butler is one of the lead singers, probably the lead singer of the Arcade Fire, which is a band I can't recommend enough. They're very good, especially in these turbulent times. And then this one, of course, anytime public libraries get discussed, the English major, not so much the English professor, but the English major in me, sort of, smiles and wants to read on. So, public libraries contain a wealth of knowledge, and they help facilitate the expansion and preservation of knowledge, ideas, and technology. So this one has got a really interesting conclusion as well. It's evolved to the point where technology is how many escape. They use it to get away from the world, and are a place personally tailored to all likes, where virtually any information is at the end of a few clicks. So the observation here is the Akron Library downtown, and lots of different. This is very people-based. This sample essay. So again, read it. It's more of like thick descriptions of each different participant. Let's see. Thick descriptions of subjects, individual subjects. All right, so looks like I'm going to eat up most of the screencast with an explanation of the good samples that I found. Well, anyway, the second screencast, this one up here, is meant to help you with all the other stuff below here. You have revising, effective sentences, avoiding errors and punctuation. I can't really speak to your ability to polish documents yet until I see final drafts from you. So I will have more or less to say on those matters as your abilities dictate, I suppose. So by Thursday the 2nd, you got to create your rough draft, post it to this spreadsheet, excuse me, by 9 a.m. And believe me, I shut it down at 9 a.m. on that Thursday morning. And then by Friday, so the sooner you do it, the sooner you can do a peer review, because you post, and then you get to read the person who's above you. So the very first person to post has to wait until the second person posts. The second person gets read by the person below and the person above. So try to be the second person. You get double the peer review. But make sure that it's posted correctly. And if there's any drama, just jump over that person, find another person's to read. If people can't be bothered to submit stuff correctly, well, that's not your problem. That's their problem. You post your rough draft, and then by Friday, 9 a.m., you provide peer review. You follow the guidelines that are on here. Don't resolve any comments whatsoever. And then you can always ask me for preliminary feedback as well. You have to do that by Friday morning, the 3rd, so that, because I don't want, since your final draft is due Monday morning, there's always a chance that I could get 400 rough drafts emailed to me at Sunday night when I'm trying to spend time with my kids, so I need them by Friday morning. I've blocked off a good chunk of my Friday to look at your rough drafts, so please send them. You don't have to wait until Friday either. Send them when you're ready to get some of my feedback on them. It can be the same document that you're using for peer review, and I will check in on the spreadsheet from time to time to make sure that things are going swimmingly, smoothly, all that good stuff. And what else? Prepare your final draft, get ready to get graded. You hopefully will collect a lot of feedback. Now, debatable conclusions are good. These are all interesting. Many of them are Starbucks based or Walmart based, but places for you to read and consult as you think about how to make sense of your own arguments. Okay, almost out of time. Please, please, please send me your emails, your questions, your concerns. Good luck.